Hi everyone, this is Dr. Mike, host of the free iTunes podcast, Psychiatric Secrets Revealed with Dr. Mike, but that's not why I'm here today. This is another savvy episode, and I'm really excited today. I'm so excited that I'm actually recording this from my work office, or one of my work offices. I had to find an old crummy webcam in a drawer and a terrible like $3 microphone because I didn't really even want to wait until I got home to do this. So the video quality and the audio quality might not be up to snuff, but I wanted to give you this information and give you a review on this fabulous product. This is the new MacBook Air 11-inch computer. And I wanted to give you my review of it and maybe compare it to some other computers so you can have a better handle on really what this is. Now, this of course is a notebook. It's not a netbook. It has the functional kind of components of a notebook, but I'm going to compare it to a netbook because frankly that's where you're going to use this. This is going to be a replacement for that netbook that maybe you have currently. Could this take the place of your main computer? Possibly, if your needs were pretty simple, but I think it's really more like an add-on computer that you're going to take with you business traveling or surfing on the couch or that sort of thing. So what do I like about this? Well, first of all, it's absolutely beautiful. It's very strong. It's unibody aluminum construction, so it's very solid feeling. And look how thin that is. It just tapers here to almost nothing, and it's not very thick there. You see the front, you see the other side, and you see the back. And it's really just elegantly slim. This only weighs 2.3 pounds, which is less than the typical netbook out there by a significant amount. It does have some mass to it. I'm not saying it's a feather, but it's really, really very light. So it's beautiful, it's slim, and it's strong, and it's a real computer. These computers have dual-core real processors in them, usually 1.4. This one happens to be a 1.6 processor, and that's going to be magnitudes above your typical netbook processor. Many times more powerful because it's the dual core and a real processor. Because this is running the Mac operating system and it's not crippled as a netbook as far as how much memory it can have, this comes in either a 2 or 4 gigabyte amount of memory, so you can really get a good amount of memory so you could run more complicated programs with this too. And it actually has a dedicated video, not a card, but a dedicated video chip that's more efficient. And so the combination of the dual core processor, flash memory on board, and the video chip really makes this quite a speedy machine. This is going to feel just fine doing most things that you're going to do with your computer, whether it's web surfing or streaming video from the net or word processing or whatever. It's going to really feel very snappy and speedy. Again, this one's a little upgrade because I wanted the bigger memory, but you probably could get by if you're really trying to economize with even the 64 gigabytes of hard drive or flash memory if your needs are simple, if you do a lot of your work in the cloud. For instance, this came with the iLife series and the iWork series. It only occupied roughly about 15 gigabytes total memory, and so even if you had that lower flash drive, you'd still have plenty of memory for files and things, unless you're having a lot of video or that sort of thing. What do I like about it? Well, let me open it up and show you. Okay, we opened it. That's how quick it is to go on. Now, this is not a fresh boot. This is on and in standby, but it literally takes a second or two to go on. And this 11-inch display does make a difference over the typical 10-inch displays on a netbook, and it is absolutely beautiful. Definitely much clearer, much sharper, just a gorgeous display. The other thing that's nice about it is you have a full-size keyboard, not a 95 or a 97% keyboard, but it's a full-size keyboard, so you can actually type on it without a lot of fatigue. And you have this enormous trackpad making navigation much easier. You do have more ports than on the original MacBook Air. This is your magnetic power port, so that kind of pops out if you trip over it. You have a USB port, and you have a headphone jack on this side. Over here you have a video out port and you have another USB port. So this is not rich with ports, but it certainly has more than the original one did. If you need like an Ethernet connection, you're going to have to buy a USB dongle from Apple. If you need VGA connectivity, which you probably would need if you're doing presentations, there's another inexpensive dongle for that you can buy. You can also look at eBay if you want to get a cheap version for really very not much at all. But you'll have to get a few accessories if you're going to use this for presentations. Likewise, if you're going to use this with a headset, you're probably going to need to get a USB headset because there's no microphone in. So there's many, many positives about this. It can run a lot of programs. I've seen reports where people are running even things like Photoshop on this. Obviously, they're not opening 50 images at once, but they are able to do a lot of multitasking and complicated programs with this. But don't expect it to be a main computer for Photoshop, or don't expect to do your HD video on this. It's just not that powerful. It was not meant to do those sorts of things, but it certainly will do a lot more than a typical netbook. Well, are there any disadvantages, or does the netbook have some advantages over this? Believe it or not, netbooks do. First of all, there's no SD slot in here, which is a very handy feature because you can use that as extra storage. In fact, I have a lot of music on SD cards, or you can use it to transfer photos on vacation or that sort of thing, so you have to buy a little extra something to do that with this computer. It doesn't have the VGA output directly, although you can buy a dongle for that. It only has the 2 USB ports, where a lot of netbooks have 3 USB ports, and it's not expandable. So what you buy is what you get. You can't change out the battery, you can't add more memory, you can't change the hard drive, which you can do in many netbooks because this is all sealed as it is. And of course, the biggest disadvantage of this unit compared to a netbook is the cost. You can buy a functional netbook for $300, get a really nice one for $500 or so. This starts at $1 kilobuck. The version that I have is a couple $100 more than that. But you're really getting a real computer. And so is this worth the extra money? Absolutely, positively. But if you are looking for economy, and if you're saying, gee, I just really need something to surf the web or to check email when I'm away, or I want to lay in bed and look at Hulu videos or something, you probably will be able to get by with just a netbook. In fact, I know you will. But if you want the ultimate in a sexy design, high performance for a small size, and I think a very good value for what you're getting in this computer, I highly recommend this MacBook Air 11-inch. I upgraded mine a little bit, but I do think that you probably could get by with just the baseline model. Everything that I've read says that one's running pretty well too. To give you an idea, with the iLife series, and I worked loaded on this, it took about 15 gigabytes total, including the operating system. That would leave quite a bit left for photos, documents, presentations, that sort of thing. But it wouldn't be enough with that smaller hard drive if you had a lot of movies and that sort of thing. But you certainly have quite a few movies on it. So that's my review of this computer. Highly recommend it if you want to spend the money. If you don't, buy a netbook. It will probably serve you pretty well too. My netbooks have served me very well through the years, but I'm really excited about this computer. So give my podcast a listen. It's absolutely free. It's really a service that I try to provide. You can find it on iTunes. Just type in my name, Michael, last name Kuna, and it'll pop up hopefully, and you can subscribe to it. And beyond that, thanks so much for listening.